this. Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Hold on. Okay.
Are we live? We are live for all time. Always. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Welcome to Jedi Mike 7 Movie News Show. I'm your host, Jedi Mike 7. I'm here with my co-host, Jay King. Jay King, how you doing, man?
I am good. I am filled with glorious purpose.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, we're here to talk about the new season, season 2, episode 1 of Marvel's Disney Plus show Loki. This new show that is coming, that has been premiering on Disney Plus. The first episode came out on Thursday last week. Episode 2 will be coming out this week on Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Even though there's things going on in the world of movies and stuff like that, we're specifically dedicating the show just in terms of reviewing Loki. Episode 1, all spoiler alert, spoilers.
Spoilers.
You get all this stuff on Disney Plus and stuff, or you pirate it, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Loki, all the Easter eggs, all the breaking down, everything that happened this episode, what we look forward to in the upcoming episodes, and give you the breakdown, the know-how, and all that stuff. But yeah, Jay King, I just want to ask, what was just your first impressions? Just that, hey, we're back. This is the first Marvel Cinematic Universe season 2 show of anything.
Yeah, I was just glad to be back. Like, again, as you said, first season 2 of any of the shows that we've had so far. Not any of them have gotten a season 2 yet. The only other one we know of to get one soon will be What If, but I very much was glad to be back in the realm of Loki and Mobius and all of them at the TVA. Because again, like, this was number one, this is the series where you and I met. And number two, this was such an integral like series back when the first season came out in 2021. Now we're like 2 years later, and it feels like no time has like left since. I mean, literally in terms of the story, literally not that much time has passed, but it really just feels like picking up directly from where we left off, in the same vibes and energy that everyone had with the enthusiasm of season 1. And it's just great to be back with all the characters that we know and the new characters that we meet in this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, like for me, I think this Loki season 1 was just one of my favorite Disney Plus shows, and not my most favorite, only because I felt this was the only thing that had, since I've seen what came after Loki season 1, that my biggest complaint a lot with Marvel right now was just the cohesiveness, and also just going back to basically its roots of in terms of storytelling. And I felt like a lot of other shows, whether they had those moments in them or not, I think in terms of cohesively, I think that the entire season of Loki season one basically brought that old school Marvel um, storytelling. And for me, I felt that in this episode, again, even like the humor and stuff that's happening. Again, going back to the traditional way of that the MCU would tell humor and not making it not just jokey or silly, but situational humor.
Hmm.
And just in the situation that they're in. And again, I think the visual effects were good. I thought the pacing stuff was good for this. Now, also, just want to be very frank and be honest and transparent with y'all. I have seen the first 4 episodes, and this season has 6 episodes in total. So I'm only talking about pertaining in terms of what episode one is and everything. Now, Jay King has not seen the other episodes, so I make sure I won't try to spoil anything like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, I just will say that you guys are in for something very, very good. But yeah, Jay King, just you just want to try to recap what happened this episode. We go bit by bit.
Hmm. So, I mean, basically, we pick up directly from where we ended season one off, Loki, in a TVA that's much different and has Kang statues all over the place. And I have to say, the fact that this opens up with a shot of the statue of Kang, aka Jonathan Majors, with Loki running away, perfectly framed as well. Like there's one moment where he's like perfectly aligned with the Kang statue as well, running away from Mobius and Hunter B-15. Like again, just a great way to pick up directly from where we left off, dropping in with where Casey's, and then we quickly learn what exactly is going on. He didn't jump into an alternate universe TVA. He jumped into the past of the TVA, which, as Mobius says later, should be impossible because there should be no past TVA. But there's a lot more about the TVA that we did not know about even after all of season one. It's not just that Kang built this place, it's just that he also had built this place and like did it over and over again multiple times to the fact that he's erased many of their memories. Like there is actually a past to the TVA, and we see that with Loki going through time slipping, shifting between where the TVA is where he last was and then the past TVA. We see that with like a mural on the ground having a crack in it after his daring escape, and then he shifts into the present day of TVA, and that crack is there in case he's like, that's been there as long as I've known it. And it's also I just have to say it's very inventive the way that they shift between the past and the present, as well as how they incorporate the past now being slightly altered and affecting present, especially with a scene later. But just really love how this show is directed so far.
Yeah, I like the way it opens up again. You get this opening shot of Loki just running, and feel like while he's looking back at Mobius and everybody, like you should know who I am, right? And then he doesn't. And again, there's a
Hmm.
lot of situational things are happening. Him, being confronted by Hunter B-15 and everybody, and then him, basically having like this fifth element type of thing where he's like jumping out and escaping. Um, let's get that. But yeah, I really like the acting they're having here and began making this very seamless. Now, I don't know
Hmm.
if they actually shot this episode at the end of season one, like a few years, like a year or two ago, and then just move on to episode two. Because again, I don't know, it just to me just look like like night and day in terms of how they just picked off from this, even with Sylvie. Um,
Yeah, I
were
have
picked off
absolutely
where they
no
left off.
idea. Like, I have absolutely no idea if they did like film this around the time that they ended season one. I'd honestly believe them because again, it literally feels like we just were here, except it was 2 years ago, but now we're back, and it feels like, wait, how long ago was that again?
Right. Yeah, it was about 2021.
Hmm. Or
Yeah.
like still earliest because again, like WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki came out like back to back during that time.
Right. Yeah, and again, I as we get into this, we start to see the visual effects on this show, which I know I really enjoyed the visual effects they had here. Again, using practical sets, and the environments and everything, but again, still uh using visual effects in a unique way that's actually serving the story, not distracting you. Um,
Hmm.
and when you see him, time slipping and everything, it looked very painful. And we see like jokes about it as he's going popping in and out of time. But again, there's a reason for that, and how they're explaining like what's actually happening to him, um, to Loki when he's doing this, and then when as we're going through this, again he's just checking to see like, wait, has this always been here before with that crack and everything? It's just like, because I
Hmm.
was still kind of grasping like with the TVA logo, it didn't change. It's still the same one, to my knowledge. But again,
Hmm.
I did enjoy the visual effects on here. Like it was, again, him time flipping, all that was good. Good
Yeah,
visual.
the whole time slipping thing, it almost looks like pulling apart like a wad of gum, or like pulling apart like a clay figure in a sense, and it looks painful.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, but then this is where he finally get catch up with Mobius, at least from our time, and then
Hmm.
and he basically had to go find a way to actually get to the bottom of this, and then he goes downstairs. Well, actually no, before he even gets there, um, we,
Yeah, it
we
was it was it was literally where he and Hunter B-15 were at the end of last season, like where we knew where they were at the end of last season, and then we meet Hunter X9, who will also find a variant of him later on in the series. But Hunter X9 like says that, the judges want you in the war room to discuss like everything that happened, and finding out that they're all variants, and you know all their all they knew was a lie basically. And then Loki is trying to get to them, but it's still time slipping.
Mhm. Yeah, he catches up to them. But before you even get to that, we basically get a conversation with some regular, like, TVA agents and everything. But they're basically seeing the head of a Time Lord on the table, and they're
Hmm.
just discussing like, "Hey, what's happening here?" And they're basically grasping on the idea, like, "Hey, are we, what does this changes everything?" And they're saying like, some people are like, "This changes nothing." But while they're doing that, there's still branches that are still going off in the timeline and everything. Um,
Hmm.
and create all these nexus events and everything like that. And and now mind you, didn't really mention any nexus in this episode though. That was interesting. um but
Yeah, no.
but again, I don't know whether they decided that they want to, try to change that word, because again, if they want to be cohesive with everything and just, maybe want to connect with Spider-Man eventually, whatever, I don't know, to
I
call it
mean,
anomaly and whatever, but it's still the same meaning.
I mean,
But yeah.
we know the events of this series not only affected No Way Home, but also across the Spider-Verse and senses, so they could if they wanted to. But I also love how at the same time, while they're doing that, we also see Loki in the past in the war room, finding that recording with He Who Remains variant and Ramona Renslayer. That
Mhm.
one little recording, on that old tape deck.
Yeah. Again, still physical set designs and everything. But I did appreciate that they were trying to, again, just add some more realism into this, and there's still also mystery. Like the
Mhm.
fact that we don't see Jonathan Majors directly yet, it's still you still feel like his presence.
Mhm.
And then to me, I'll even go one step further. I felt, to me, this was like more of a presence and looming presence of Kane that we've gotten more than actually Ant-Man 3. My only opinion, and my reason for saying that is that, yeah, we don't get to see him, but we see that Loki is saying that he's such an urgent threat, and then the way he's conveying that, I feel, is more than what Ant-Man the Wasp did. It's just, oh yeah, yeah, we got that dude. He escaped, I guess. Whatever. What's going on here? You don't
Yeah,
know the
no,
actual
no, like
ramifications of him. You know.
yeah, no, like Loki, like when Loki was talking about him, especially when he got back and like, undid the timekeeper's mural to show the Kang's faces that he found out was there in the past. Like you heard the shakiness in his voice. He's like, "That's who stole your lives, and there's more of them coming." Like he was scared. Like that's the energy we need for the big bad of this multiverse saga. That is how they should feel when it comes to Kang right now, a looming threat that is not just one person, but is a billion versions of the same person that is equally, if not more dangerous, that could arrive at any moment. That is the energy we need for Kang. Loki's shakiness in his voice and his uncertainty, especially given the fact that He Who Remains knew how everything was going to go to a certain extent, but still knew how everything was going to go. I really, really liked how Loki was scared.
Yeah, and again, it's like we know that in at least this season we're not, we're still getting references of He Who Remains, but also we know we're gonna get Victor Timely, and everything like that. But again, I just felt this to me had more of a bigger um presence, in terms of this in this show, at least especially in this first episode, compared to what we did in Ant-Man. But again, that just shows just in terms of just direction that they're going with actual storytelling and everything. And you mentioned with Ravonna, I wanted to be some type of nod to can go into the ties of Kang's origin, because Ravonna Renslayer is a huge part of that, as a
Hmm.
like romantic, a love interest, but like in a very unique way. And how other variants of Kang is involved in terms of the conflict within that. But I don't know how far they're going to go. Even after watching 4 episodes, I don't know where they're going with a direction of Ravonna's character. But I am intrigued in terms of, at least with that, with the little the recording device. You still get nods of like, hey, they're setting that seed of look, there's some history there, with between those
You are
characters.
quite a marvel, Ravonna Renslayer.
Yeah, yeah. So, but then he basically gets into the TVA war room and stuff, and then we find out he takes one of the pruning devices and he prunes the wall, and where the Time Lords were at. Because then he would just time slip. He was just there when he saw the full wall
Hmm.
exposed and everything, and now he's seeing, oh, this is all a cover up. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, and they're still grasping with this. Now, again, you still have some TVA agents who are still not, reluctant about this too.
Yeah, but they
Still
do it.
acting.
Yeah, but they do at least understand the danger of this, even though it's questioning how much of a danger they're putting it, especially with that one agent. Not only the one agent, but the one judge that they kind of have like a what looks like some type of motherly relationship, which is kind of funny if you also know where the actress has also been. But I'm just saying, like, now they're going after Sylvie, so it's like, what exactly do they know? I'm kind of feeling like they know a little more than they're telling.
Yeah. Or I think it's also based off of situational whereas like you're basically untraining the mind. It's like this is also with symptoms of people being in cults. Is like when the truth is being exposed to you, then it's like, and that's been your whole reality of what you believe, because perception is reality. So then it's like people believe like, oh well, that doesn't change anything. I still believe what I believe, but this is a lie. So again, I
Hmm.
think there's still a faction of people that feel like you know are still trying to um uh, be reluctant on this. Like, this doesn't change anything. We're still TVA. We're still going to prune these timelines, but now we're now viewing these timelines now as just being, no billions or trillions of lives of innocent people, right? And again,
Hmm.
with these people, like, you have no reluctancy of like, hey, we don't care. We need to prune these timelines so we can keep order, and stuff. But then the other TVA agent, she just say, no, 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 we're going to stop pruning, but they're still going with their plan and everything. But then as we get to this, more Mobius is still basically trying to catch up to Loki,
Hmm.
and basically we go down, downstairs to the lower level of the TVA, and we meet another character.
Yeah, because like he's like, look, we can try and figure out this whole like he who remains thing later, but first we need to find out why you keep shifting in between the past and present. So they take him down to repairs where we meet Ouroboros, played by Kiwi Kwan.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his performance in this. Again, his like he's more of again, like his character from Goonies, who was like very handy and tech based and stuff like that. But um,
Hmm.
it's still like giving old school like time or it's giving like the Matrix with the keymaster or the
Hmm.
keymaker type of thing. Like they have all the gadgets and everything they need. But he actually was the one that actually created the TVA manual that everyone's following.
Hmm.
But again, given his nobody to really know visitors down there, and that
Yeah, which
there's
is very sad.
yeah, but again, he's still being a joyful character, which again, I just think that's just also tied to the innocence of his character. But
Hmm.
there is still more to him that we still want to know, like how long he's been here, how much that he know. He has so much knowledge of this. And the question is, where did he get this from? Either he had to be taught by somebody or something or something like
Hmm.
that. So,
Yeah.
but
There's
again,
also yeah, there's also leads to one of my favorite scenes as well, because it's like as they're trying to discuss the whole thing, Loki time slips again, and that's when we find out, like, oh, that's not supposed to be, possible in the TVA. And then it's basically two conversations with Loki talking to Ouroboros in the past, while Mobius is talking to present Ouroboros, and then what Loki does is affecting things in the present. So it's like, oh, I never heard of time slipping. Wait a minute, no, I do know because of Loki. Oh, I don't have this. Oh no, wait, hold on, I have it. It's right over here. Like that kind of thing. I honestly really love that scene a lot.
yeah, I thought I did like the interaction again. First of all, just the way that scene was shot, I really do appreciate, like, what they were doing, because that showed some skill in terms of how, like, the cinematography of this episode again, like, with particular camera shots and everything, because again, he's talking, having the same conversation, just in two different time periods,
Hmm.
but with the same character, and I think that was really interesting. But yeah, and basically, basically get this, really to resolve the whole plot of the show is now how we get to get Loki to stop, time slipping and everything. And so what he has to do is that he had to go down to this level where this machine that basically holds the sacred timeline, or basically makes raw time and the physical time, whatever.
Hmm.
Now
Yeah,
again,
that's exactly what it does. Like it takes raw time and turns it into the sacred timeline. But of course, with He Who Remains getting killed, there's way too much going in than there it can physically take.
yeah, and again, this one thing, I'm not saying well is a pet peeve or not. It just for it to there's a lot of logic that you have to have for the show, okay? And I think some things are just kind of just pulling out of their butt at this point. Because again, like, we're still trying to understand the actual way how, like, the timelines and all that stuff work in this show. And again, I just felt like, all right, this is a cool concept what you're trying to do, and now it's like, wait, take raw time and the physical time, but what is raw time coming from, and blah blah blah. It's like, if I actually want to make the math and do all this right, again, it gets a little bit complicated. It's just like, okay, all right, that's where we're going, I guess.
Yeah, like
Um,
where does all that raw time come from? Is it around the TVA and it gets formed there, or like where exactly does that time energy come from, to be exact?
Right, right. And so yeah, we see this, and I do well, I'm trying to find a shot. Where's the shot here? Um but yeah, basically that Obi has a plan to basically, hey, in order for you to get Loki out of here, you need to um basically prune, he had to be in a different timeline, or i.e. the future, and he has to prune himself. And then you, Mobius, basically have to go out there, out, near where the raw time is at, and actually pull him out and stuff like that. Right now,
Well,
it's
I mean,
very dangerous.
it wasn't necessarily like Loki needed to be in a different time. Like that whole thing just happened. He was just saying, like, you need to prune yourself at the exact moment that, because it wasn't just to save Loki, it was also to stop the power surges that were going on in the TVA that had been happening the entire episode. It was for Loki to, as soon as Mobius put in the device into the, machine that was taking raw time and turning it into linear time, to take that, once it was set in and the light turned green, then he pruned himself, and then the device would have also pulled Loki from all of the time periods that he kept shifting towards, and bring him into present day. It was it was doing both those things at the same time.
Yeah,
And he
yeah, I
had
thought,
to wear the protective suit. And Mobius also had to wear the protective suit because there was the whole joke about, oh, you lose all your skin.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I try not to get the logic of the show, because now it gets kind of complicated. But I was like, okay, this we gotta do. Okay, cool. All right, cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, I did. Both of them basically have to do things that are dangerous for, for them. They have to either, Loki, either he turns into what was it? He loses hair. What was it?
He said that if Loki like pruned himself, but they weren't able to like use the device and pull all of his, where every place he was shifting to back into present day, it would have been like falling into a black hole and turning into spaghetti. And then for Mobius, if he was out there way too long within his suit, then all of his skin would have peeled off and he would have died because
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
suit could only take so much energy.
Hmm.
And then it's at that point that Loki accidentally shifts to the future.
Yeah. So now we get to the future, as you know, Mobius is actually outside, or trying to go get him, put this device. Now we see Loki is in the future. Now, as he's in the future, or not too distant future, I should say, that we see him basically going in and was it the episode one? I'm trying to find that shot.
Yeah, but basically he's walking he shows up in that same vault room, but in the future. And in the future it looks like they'll have to do what they're doing again because things are getting worse in the future. Like
Hmm.
the whole TVA is freaking shifting around. He's walking around trying to find a pruning stick, and then he hears a phone ring, but he never picks it up, of course, leading to many people being like, "Who's calling him?" And then the elevator door opens and there stands Sylvie, who's like, "There you are." And then he gets pruned. By who? We don't see. But I think we can obviously tell exactly who.
Yeah, yeah. We see this is our first shot of Sylvie in the show, at least in not too distant future. But then, yeah, we do see Loki basically getting pruned out of time and being pulled back where Mobius is. So and saves them basically. But now there's a whole theory about who uh, 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 pruned Loki. And for me, someone say I've seen like the first 4 episodes, and I already know. But again, it's like if you follow basic logic of someone sitting, it's like Bill. What's the show called? Was it Bill and Ted? Excellent
Um,
Adventure.
yeah, yeah. I think you might be referring to Bill and Ted, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
like
that whole thing's
if
like,
shout out to that movie. It basically where it's like, hey, if I leave my guitar in the bushes and I can't pick up in the future, yep, got it. So
mhm.
yeah, it's basically that logic, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Um,
and then like, again, I haven't seen past episode one, but it's like even I already kind of know who pruned him. The
yeah,
question
yeah,
I'm wondering who's calling, but I can already tell who pruned him.
yeah. But again, there's a lot of things. The whole TVA and stuff is in disarray. As you're seeing this, and really that I can say that situation really extends this entire show, or at least so far when I get to this point. 'Cause again, like you've seen, like the TVA is unraveling through itself, and we're seeing like this very very bureaucracy that was well ordered, well structured and everything, now unraveling, and then with that, it's unraveling the entire multiverse, or different timelines and stuff. But now, the only thing though, we still don't see the ramifications of those timelines in person, or at least watching the show. We just see from the TVA's point of view, that's just basically erasing lines on a chart and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
um, that's what something I hope they do. Hopefully before end of the season, like, hey, where's the ramifications of this? We actually see you pruning, an entire timeline, in real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
like either pruning, or in the case of something we still have yet to fully see in a sense since Doctor Strange 2 and Incursion.
Mhm. So yeah, but then I believe that basically ends the episode until we get to um basically Sylvie. We know, like, where's Sylvie been this whole time? Well, Sylvie,
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
yeah, Sylvie, she basically um leaves her post and basically at the end of time, and she has this time pad where she literally can go anywhere at this point. Um
Mhm. And where
and
does she
but yeah,
go? Where does she go?
what'd you say?
And I was like, and where exactly does she go? She's hungry.
Yeah, she goes into a place. I think the year is 1986 or 82.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find the
Right all the way to an early days McDonald's.
yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm about to pull up the image here.
Mhm.
Um,
But yeah, that was a cute scene though at the end. She basically is getting to she's now wanting to experience life because again, if you remember, she basically was snatched away as a child from Asgard in her timeline. Like she never got to experience really like the wonders of growing up. So now she gets to and starts off with McDonald's, good old McDonald's and good old chicken McNuggets. Or in her case, she wants to try everything.
Yeah. I had a short that I made that I posted. Um I made a McDonald's commercial, but I'll let y'all see that when I post that. Um
And in case any of y'all are wondering why McDonald's, McDonald's actually has like a sponsored thing with Loki. I actually knew about this for a while, but like yeah, they have a sponsored thing with Loki going on right now. Their sweet and sour sauce. It's Loki themed, but yeah, they have a whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then basically that concludes. That was the end credit scenes episode. That concludes episode 1 of Loki. Now, in terms of what we look forward to the rest of the season, again, we still don't know. The big mystery is where's Miss Minutes, because she is the AI, helper of all of it, and everyone's like, I can call Miss Minutes, like, well, she was with he remains last season.
Hmm.
So the whole question is, where is Miss Minutes?
Yeah,
J King.
like we know we're gonna see a past version of her, like from the trailers. Like we will see one with her with Victor Timely, but in the case of the version of Miss Minutes we saw in the last episode of season 1, we have no idea where she might be. She could be anywhere. She literally could be anywhere. I have no idea.
Mhm. Yeah, and she is we do know it will be the same actress, Tara Strong,
Tara
who
Strong.
voiced her in season 1. And I do say that you guys are gonna like the role, at least Miss Minutes play in this season moving forward. You see different sides to her, the good, the bad, and the ugly side of her too. As you probably see in trailers, but again, it's like there's a bigger play, at least in terms of how, like, in terms of what she is, and and especially like who creates her, and her purpose is and stuff like that. So, I do like them, diving into more characters than we got in season 1. Again, as we get into, we have 6 episodes left now. We know we're gonna get Jonathan Majors though. My only thing is that I hope that when they bring in Jonathan Majors, that yeah, again, we had Kang the Conqueror from Ant Man the Wasp, but then we get this another variant. But
Mhm.
apparently, I want to see just another different side, just in terms of a variant of Kang, and but again, how, like, who is the creator of the TVA and how he started this whole thing. But again, I think you guys are gonna enjoy this though. But there was a few Easter eggs though. There was X-Men Easter egg. At least people, there was a door that
Yeah,
opened.
the vault to where like the raw time is very much opened up exactly like the door to Cerebro.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, I was like, "Wait, is that?" I'm like, "Nah, nah, 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 nah."
And speak, funny enough, given the fact that we do know there is an X-Men film coming, so
Yes, right. That's currently in development right now. But again, yeah, this was. Let me get this right here. Um, now my question is, where do you think Sylvie's gonna be mentally throughout this season? Now we know that she's going to McDonald's, having apparently having the time of peace, whatever that she wants. But where do you see her basically going through this season?
well, I mean, again, as we saw in this first, as we saw in this first episode, like again, she basically, as I said, she basically just now wants to explore what life is like. I think it's going to be an in between of her wanting to take accountability for what she did at the end of season 1 that caused the entire multiverse to have an aneurysm, but at the same time, I think she's going to be like, okay, before I take care of that, I deserve some freaking happiness in my life because it was all stolen away from me by the TVA and by this, dude at the end of time who thinks he's all knowing and everything. So I'm gonna have like, I'm gonna have my the time of my life for now until I need to like take care of like again, she's definitely going to have to take accountability for everything she did by killing he who remains, but I think for now it's just going to be like her, you know, living her best life basically in the best way possible at any point in time.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause I think it's more of a because she still, and I think Hunter B-15 also as well, because she was the one that was able to touch her and basically see her life as in the sacred timeline and everything. But again, I think she's like in the viewpoint of like, well, she wants to like cherish, the moments that she have because now she doesn't have to run anymore. But then, but also with the again with the branches and stuff that happening in these timelines, these are still innocent people lives that are still being pruned, but they're just all going away like as second thought. And I think, and again, I wanted to see actual universes being destroyed from ground level, from ground level. Because this is one thing that I wanted them to do in Doctor Strange when they're talking about incursions and all stuff like that. Like, don't show, don't tell, and everything, right? So yeah, I was hoping that they were just gonna dive more into that, but yeah, I don't know. That was just me. What do you think, man?
I mean, there could be a possibility. If it doesn't happen, I won't be too surprised, but there is a possibility for us to potentially do like a incursion. I guess if they were to do an incursion, it would have to be on a world that they like linger on for a bit in this season. Like one world that they're maybe on, like either the world, like again, from what we've seen so far when it comes to the season, it looks like it'll mostly be within the TVA as well as mostly be within like two time periods, one with Victor Timely and one with, the variant of that Hunter X5. But it's like, if they stay in like one alternate dimension for like more than like an episode, I say potentially that dimension has the chance of getting incursioned potentially.
Mhm.
If it doesn't happen, I won't be too surprised, but if it does happen, I'd say that'd probably be the way that they would go about it. Have it be a world that they grow a little bit attached to.
Yeah, because we do see uh again, like in the future, that entire sacred timeline or that branch is basically cut off. So we don't know if the whole TVA is going to be destroyed, and also how does this lead into Deadpool? How does it lead into no the future of the MCU now? Because at least a lot of reports are happening that TVA is heavily involved in Deadpool 3. So I'm more concerned about like where they're going to leave off with terms of the final like 2 episodes that I've seen. Um, uh, for them to connect all this and say, hey, where is TVA itself going to be? Because there's no new leadership. He remains dead. We got Sylvie and Loki, or some of them, one of them actually going to, actually bring all this back together. And how also does this, respond in terms of, hey, will there even be a TVA or a variant of a TVA, whatever that might be? I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, because again, I have a lot of unanswered questions going into this. But again, it's giving mystery, but intriguing mystery of the MCU, which is what makes it more entertaining than previous Marvel shows for me. And again, I shout out to the set design for them. I shout out to the directors, again, and the cinematographer for this episode. And I also can attest for the upcoming episodes you guys are about to see, though. But yeah, other than that, anything else you want to leave, J King? Any hopes
No, I
like
think
for the rest of the episode, or for now, or for next week's episode?
I just hope it keeps up the same momentum as this first episode, if not better.
Hmm.
This is definitely one of my favorite shows. I enjoyed season one a heck of a lot, and I'm enjoying so far. So I just hope it continues to be as good as it has started off so far.
Hmm. But yeah, guys, yeah, that concludes in terms of our review and spoiler discussion of episode 1 of Loki season 2. Again, episode 2 will be premiering on Disney Plus on Thursday, 9 p.m.
Hmm.
Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think I probably can go up maybe to 9:30 or so. We can cover a few things if you want. Are you cool with that? Cool. All right, cool. Because after now we conclude a review of Loki season 2. There's also just for a few news that got dropped today from Marvel Studios, though. So we're gonna go into our next segment, our last segment of the show, which is what's new in the MCU. Yeah, guys. Yeah, we are back. Welcome to Jedi Mike 7 Movie News Show. I'm your host, Jedi Mike 7 with Jay King. And we're going to be talking just a few topics from going on in the world of the MCU. And we actually got news from Daredevil. Daredevil actually premiered, or not premiered, revealed its first synopsis of the show. And I'm trying to find it right now. But basically, what the premise is going on here is saying that it's a new beginning for Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk, and that they're actually trying to start their new lives as better versions of what they were before. And this is not just for Daredevil, but also for Kingpin himself. And basically, it's kind of alluding to the fact that that these people are going to be in different stages of their lives. Now we know we're not going to have no Foggy Nelson, no Karen or anything like that, but it's been confirmed that again we'll be getting Punisher coming back. We'll be getting a few other characters that still have not been announced, but I know probably for example, Jessica Jones possibly might return, but only time will tell for that. But basically, what's alluding to is that maybe that Kingpin might be becoming mayor, probably of New York City. So, Jake, what is your thoughts on the synopsis of Daredevil Born Again being revealed, and the fact that there might be taking this approach of going into that storyline of Kingpin becoming mayor?
I mean, I feel like it's probably the best way to go about these characters, like, them trying to go into different arcs of their lives. And Wilson Fisk becoming mayor, 100% can be seen. It's happened before. I literally was reading comics around the time that it happened before. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see how they do it within the MCU in this sense. But yeah, as you said, like, we're getting some old characters like Punisher. We're getting, a few new characters. We also had gotten revealed the new actress who's playing Vanessa. And I could be the same one as, Netflix. But we also got like the new actress who's playing Vanessa, Wilson's one and only true love. Um, but yeah, like again, Daredevil Born Again is one of those projects that I'm very excited to see exactly how they go about it. I know a lot of people are going to complain that it's most likely not going to be 100% like how it was back on Netflix, but after what we saw of Daredevil and She-Hulk, being very much like how he is in the comics, while being serious while also being a jokey, character as well as he tends to be, I'm very excited to see exactly how this goes. Now, of course, still on actor strike right now, so there's no set time for when this will come out, but I'm still excited.
Yeah. Right here, this is the actress that's playing. So right on the left, that is the previous actress that played Wilson Fisk uh wife, and on the
Vanessa.
far Vanessa, and on the far left, that is the woman that's been recast as Vanessa in Daredevil. So yeah, I have no issue with the casting or anything like that, because now the only thing is I think people's really issue is um whether if Daredevil is going to keep the momentum of the Netflix show, and will this be Daredevil season 4, or completely do a different new entity and stuff, which is probably what I think is going to happen. And I think honestly what needs to happen, because again, uh, aside from this, we're getting 18 episodes of this show, and there's going to be a lot of different things to measure it on a Disney Plus show. Because again, I know the 6 episode format was not great for a lot of people for Disney Plus. Period. And some cases for
Hmm.
even 9 episodes wasn't even that good. So 18, the doubling that, they can go into like completely different arcs. Or actually 3 if you want to talk about have a 6 episode arc of each storyline or whatever. That'd be very
Hmm.
interesting. But again, uh, they're also, because of the writer's strike and stuff. It's been reported that Daredevil might not be coming until 2025. Uh, of Not next year, but the following year. Now, this has
Yeah.
not been confirmed as of yet, but again, a lot of things are going to be affected by this whole writer strike at the moment. Because again, with the writer strike, which is still not writer strike. The
The writer's strike is over. The actors' strike is still going on at this moment. They haven't we haven't heard anything yet, but I think hold on. There was something that popped up today, but it's still going on right now.
Yeah, like they're because also this is East Coast time, so technically they would have had discussions right, either as we speak or where they are right now, on the West Coast. But again, it's just been reported that yes, we got the synopsis of Daredevil Born Again being revealed, but again, it's like there's been reports that the delay is going to probably be affecting these shows. Because again, we still had announcement that Echo is still going to be coming sometime early of next year. We still got about one show that's coming out after Loki. I think is What If during Christmas time. But and after that we have Agatha, the spinoff show WandaVision, basically
Yeah,
be coming in the fall of 2024. Now
which that
we've
also
also
which that also just got its synopsis too.
yeah, I'm trying to find it. Just give me a second.
Well, I think I sent it to you guys, so I can read it.
Oh, you okay? You can read it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like the synopsis for like Agatha, Darkhold Diaries, and please just let the title stick for the love of God. Um, is Agatha is powerless. The only way forward for her is to embrace a perilous quest to get her powers back with the help of an unlikely friend.
Yeah. So with this show, we know we got Aubrey Plaza going to be coming back, or not coming back. Is introduced in this show as a witch. There's other characters that are going to be introduced here, possibly Wiccan, Wanda's son. That's going to be part of this story. But yeah, now this does lead to a question though about. I know some people had a kind of like frustration. I know you and me, Jay King, talked about this, but that the fact that we're getting a lot of these Disney Plus shows of not A-list or B-list characters, but more like these C or D-list characters. And what's up?
Breaking news. I just got this alert. SAG-AFTRA and the studios have concluded negotiating today and will continue on Wednesday. Both sides will work independently on the deal tomorrow.
Okay, so this,
Yeah.
okay, sorry. So yeah, breaking news that yeah, we're moving forward so far, but again, this is I told you this the SAG after strike the negotiation is not going to be as easy as WGA. It's going to be a lot more
Nope.
difficult. But still, I said my birthday is coming next Sunday, and I can tell you, I hope this thing ends before my birthday. I put money on it, so hopefully we get some updates by Friday, and we'll see how this goes. But that also does include this too. We also got other announcements of another Marvel actor actually being another actor been cast in Marvel in the Ironheart show.
Hmm.
Right here. Now brace yourselves. Yeah. This is Saka Baron. Was Sasha Baron Cohen? That's the name. Yeah, whatever his name is. But what was that? Oh, okay. All right. I don't know what just happened. But anyway, Saka Baron Cohen. You can see this actor right here. He's been cast in the MCU in the new Ironheart series, and basically Marvel Studios via recent copyright filing confirmed that Sacha Baron Cohen is featured in the main cast of the MCU Disney Ironheart series, and it's been reported that his role in the series is actually substantial. And the worth noting that this copyright filing listed his character as a mystery man, now which could have been done to obscure his actual role. Now, if you guys remember back in WandaVision, Agatha was actually named Agnes instead of Agatha Harkness. Trying to combine that name, right? But with this actor right here, there's a lot of speculation about who this character, he might be playing. And
Okay, I'm back. Don't mind that.
are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Don't mind that.
Okay,
Oh my
cool.
god, but no, I did not slam my PC, Alex.
Oh yeah, no, he said he was pissed. Like, what? No.
No.
But yeah, hold on. So right here, I'm trying to get the article right here. But good, Jake, can you go on? What's your thoughts on Sacha Baron Cohen being cast in Marvel and who is he playing? I'm trying to get it.
I mean, I'm glad that he's here. I have no idea who on earth he could be playing. As like I literally was when I saw this announcement, I was like, okay, who on earth could he be playing? And I was thinking back and like even looking like skimming back to some Ironheart runs, and I was like, I have absolutely no idea who on earth he could play. Like I actually have no idea who he's. Come on, come on, bro. This
Yeah.
again.
So for those of you guys do not know, there's been
This again.
in WandaVision. In WandaVision, there was this character that a lot of people kept saying was going to appear. It's called Mephisto. Who is Mephisto? He's actually the version of Marvel's Satan. I
This
rebuke.
is literally the least likeliest place for Mephisto to show up. I'd
Actually, no.
much more believe him to show up
Actually,
in
no.
Loki
That's
than
not
this.
true. That's not true. That's not true because this show is basically having a conversation between technology versus magic, and we have another
Okay, fair, but like there's a difference between the Hood and Mephisto.
yeah. So again, you're right. Yes, dear. He is Marvel's Satan. I rebuke.
hmm
Um, yes, and so yeah, so Mephisto was a character that everybody thought was going to be in WandaVision. Mephisto has a lot of ties to Wanda and Agatha and stuff like that, but being confirmed that this actor is going to be in Ironheart, which is going to be a show about basically technology versus magic, and um, and what was the character's name? It's called the Hood, right? Not Red Hood, but the Hood.
No, yeah, it's the Hood.
Even though his hood's red, but
The Hood.
yeah, and
With
it's
a
the Hispanic dude from Transformers.
hmm
That dude.
and
Uh,
also recently Dumb Money, and of course Hamilton. But yeah, like has a magical hood
yeah, dude from
that literally
Transformers.
comes from like that literally is a demon. His hood is literally a demon.
Yeah, a lot of people say, "What? That's not true. The devil says tempting." Nigga. Yeah, no, seriously. Um, yes, he is Marvel's Satan, y'all. I gotta keep saying that before I cast out. I rebuke. But yes, um, yeah, but this character was really rumored to be um uh announced, or like there's a lot of speculation of this character being played by Sacha Baron Cohen. So I think that, again, this casting, I have no issues with him as an actor. I just really don't care about this show at all. And I think this goes to a bigger discussion about the Disney Plus shows um that I think we conclude, with this show, but I have this conversation with Jay King about making the decision between having a secondary, not even second, but like third or fourth uh like layered characters and having their own show instead of having like a higher tier character to be having a show or a film. Because a lot of people, and myself included, that not saying I did not like Agatha, not saying I don't like Miss Marvel or Moon Knight or She-Hulk, and even then I'm not even upset or anything that they had their own shows. I might have liked how they were portrayed, but or how the shows turn out. But again, it's like um, I'm I'm trying to question just in terms of Marvel things. Like, yes, the quantity over quality, but again, do we really need Agatha Harkness show? Do we really need an Ironheart show? Like, and especially with the character where, unlike, I even do one better. Like, think about the introduction of Black Panther, right? Black Panther was introduced in Captain America: Civil War, right? Had an amazing
hmm
introduction, right? But his character actually served the story in a very integral way, and even to the point how he had a crucial part in that film. Even at the ending of that film, they had end credit scene, everything to serve him up, and you're just ready to jump into the world of Wakanda, right? But unlike with this, with Ironheart in Wakanda Forever, I felt that her character was more shoehorned in this story than actually like, oh, she was intended to be in this particular story. And it really was doing the whole thing with the scientist aspect of it. Like, if she was removed out of it, could you replace any other character and put her in that role? Probably. But with Black Panther in Civil War, you couldn't, because he was so integrally grained into that conflict, right? And I
hmm
think for me, it's like, yes, I like some of these characters. Like, I don't have an issue with Ironheart. But I think is I would like for them to be introduced in a better way and also make me actually care about these characters. Like, for example, I enjoy Miss Marvel. I'm looking forward for Miss Marvel in the Marvels, but I can say I'm not looking forward to Ironheart because for one, the film only came out last year, almost a year ago at this point in November is next month. That's when Black Panther came out. Can you believe it? Been a year since Wakanda Forever. Um, but yeah, so it's been a year since we've seen this character, and we have so many different movies, so many different shows. After that, to a point, it's almost we just got she got a show. Oh, okay. And the fact that it's getting pushed to 2025. But before I even ramble on that, J. what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I literally have no problem with again, this is not only coming from the side of an MCU fan, but also as a side of a comic book fan. I I literally have no problem with these characters having like their own respective like film or show to, expand their world. I can understand some people feeling that Riri was shoehorned into Wakanda Forever. Yes, I can see that if you removed her, the story is virtually the same. It could have been with like any other scientist. At the same time, I didn't mind Riri at all. Unlike most people, I didn't mind her. So it's like I'm completely for an Ironheart show because again, like I'm ready for people to stop comparing her and saying that she's just a female Iron Man. But at the same time, I completely understand that, there's a lot of people that just don't care about new characters. There's a lot of people that just don't care, which is a sad thing, but it also just goes to show like there are a lot of people that really just don't care about, you know, new characters, whether you have a good reason to or not. That's just a big, you know, side of the fandom that again, not a lot of people knew about Moon Knight. Not a lot of people knew about She-Hulk. Not a lot of people knew about Ironheart until their first appearances. And, regardless of how you felt about them or not, there's just not that big of an audience for newer characters at this point, unless they're introduced in a way that makes people actually like them. So it's like, you know, we'll have to see. I'm still looking forward to Ironheart's show, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, because not like I'm not having, I can't get good moments out of these shows or anything. And you and I discussed that. Like, okay, I enjoy Agatha as a character. I enjoy Moon Knight as a character. That's a standalone thing. Love Miss Marvel. I enjoy Kate Bishop. I probably didn't like the show that she was in, but I like the character. But the thing about it is that you and I are not the general audience. And I also have to make note is like, okay, there's some characters I love to see. I love to see Young Avengers, which Ironheart sometimes has a role to play in that, or Miss Marvel, or everything. But it's like we have to get to a point where it's like you actually care about these people, right? And I want to use the example, and make sure I want to get this because it's actually going to jump into this because new characters. I don't even think it's the problem because you want to know why? Because we got a show right now. That actually has a bunch of new characters we don't know, but it's actually whooping all these superhero shows right now in its corner. That show is Gen V. I love Gen V. I'm gonna actually, I know we're gonna probably talk about with Gen V later. I think probably on Saturday. I think me and Jake will probably talk about that when we're gonna cover that. Uh, but no, Gen V is a whole show with new characters, characters we have not seen before. Actually, even though they might have been Easter egg behind the scenes, but not on front and center. But yeah, this is a new show with all these new characters, these young adults and stuff like that. The exact same format that you can say if you introduce a Kate Bishop, a Miss Marvel, a Ironheart, all these young heroes or characters with these abilities. But what is the difference between this show and the Marvel Disney Plus shows that introduce all these characters? And for me, I think it's the writing. For one, in less than 2 or 3 minutes, they actually made you care about the character Marie over a tragedy scene. Yes, I'm not saying you have to use graphic, scenes to make it like, oh my God, whatever. But even then, Invincible, oh, Adam Eve. Let's say we never even see Adam Eve in episode season 1, right? But we have her one episode of her special, which wasn't even like 2 hours long. It was an hour or even less than maybe 45 minutes. But again, what they did with the character Marie, with the tragedy of accidentally, killing her parents, this was still I was able to draw into this character and like, okay, now it's like I'm invested. I want to see where this character go next. When you go into other characters, a part of the show, such as what's this dude? Schwarzenegger's kid. What's his name? Golden Boy.
Mhm.
And the other characters that are dealing with these mental illnesses, traumas, but again are also relatable to a point where now it's like I can't relate to having supernatural abilities, but I can relate to in terms of maybe dealing with these issues that these characters are going through. Which I think that for the audience, like yes, you want to bring an audience bigger, than what the general Marvel going audience is, right? Especially the Marvel universe represents what's outside your window, everybody, right? So I'm not going to the conversation about wokeness and stuff. What I'm talking about is
Yeah,
actually
we don't need to go into that whole woke
right,
conversation
right,
because you,
right now. I'm
you,
not. Remember, I'm not going to. What I'm saying is that to get to a point where we actually have these characters that we care about and not just forced to us like you're supposed to like it. Which is why for me, I think there was issue with Captain Marvel, like especially the marketing of her when she first came out back in 2019. It was 2019 because um the issue was you are off the bat are telling me she's the strongest person in the Marvel universe. Maybe let me watch that and actually see for myself. And then instead of just saying, "Yo, she's the top dog," now when she comes, you're like, it just, you every time anybody like seriously, anytime somebody mentions the name Captain Marvel, people just be like, "P power," you know.
yeah, they immediately go to they immediately go into their whole it's woke or that force is feet like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Emotional damage.
They can't handle it.
Yeah, they can't handle it, But that's I don't know. I just what do you I understand how do you feel about like what I'm talking about? Because like I just think that I'm speaking on for general audience there, like for some folks, because obviously not the people who just off the bat just kind of just disregard it or anything like that for what it is. This show has absolutely no characters that we've seen before, and other than the world that we're in that's already been established, which is the world of the boys. And the same thing goes for Marvel. We're introducing these characters in the world of the MCU. But yet, why those shows not hitting and yet Gen V is?
Well, I mean, you pretty much said it. The difference is both the writing and the way that these characters are presented. Like we already know that a bunch of these characters, stop Marcus. We already know that a lot of these characters have these amazing, fantastical abilities. But it's not just that we're connecting to them deeper as character as people because they all have a lot of struggles that they're dealing with, as well as just their personalities are just so fun to bounce off of.
Mhm.
Again, it's just the difference between how you're presenting them. Not saying that any of the new characters that we've gotten in the MCU haven't been, ones we can connect to. Because like there's been a lot in the sense of like Kamala Khan and Mark Spector and all that, and Shang Chi. But the difference is that in less than 2 minutes, as you said, in less than 2 minutes, we already connected to the main character instantly. And then as soon as the other characters popped up, and especially as they start more and more layers have started to pop off within these so far first 4 episodes, we've connected instantly to pretty much all these characters.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I just think and for me it's like the writing of the boys is so good, but now it's like but here's the thing. Did you guys anybody did you know any of these characters when season 1 came out? Absolutely not. You had Comic explain it to you. Right? You had Emergency Awesome explain it to you. But then yet now this became one of the most popular superhero shows out there, doing way better than what than what Marvel is doing right now in terms of their shows. But for me, I'm like, imagine you have the writing of these characters, but yet you use characters that we already know and somewhat widely more popular and do something about it and actually make it more relatable. But again, it's like I'm not trying to rewrite their show, in terms of with these Disney shows and everything. But I am just saying that I personally, I just think that again, I would like to see these characters that I know that not only that I love, but I think people will actually love. They actually get to fully embrace them. But in order to embrace them, again, we're customers. It's like you have to understand. It's like if you're giving something that we're not biting onto, then like it's not really our fault. Like, yes, you're in the world of criticism and stuff like that. But again, it's like you just introduced 3 or 4 different characters, spade to spade, and we're all attached to them, every single one of them, and Gen V, and they're killing it. They're killing it. We're only just 4 episodes now, and we got 9. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just but anyway, y'all. But that's it. That concludes in terms of our show. Jedi Mike Sub movie new show on our Monday edition of the show. We'll be back on Saturday. Now, that's a good question. I don't know, will I be there Saturday? Because it'll be my birthday weekend. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a stream Saturday because I'm having a get together. Let's see. I might push the show either Friday or Sunday. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, y'all. Yeah, because I might move it. Just be on the lookout. Make sure you guys hit the notification bell on your way out, y'all. And I'll make sure I keep you guys posted. But yeah, it's my birthday weekend coming up. I do like to do a birthday stream and stuff like that. And did that last year. Want to keep that tradition there. But until next time, J King, where people find you?
I mean, where else other than here? Other than my socials down below.
Gotcha. And you can find me on Jedi Mike 7 on Instagram, on YouTube as well. And you can also find me on TikTok as well, Jedi Mike 7 _YT for YouTube. And we are almost 10 days away to be greater, be yourself, be together. Spider-Man PS5 #2 is about to come out, y'all. We got some videos gonna be dropping off for that from J King and myself. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for that. Till next time, Jedi Mike 7, this J King. Peace, y'all. God bless y'all. We are out.
Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
job to catch you up, so let's not waste another minute. Settle in, sharpen your pencils, and check this out.